Welcome to another episode of Birminology on Lettermen Row. I'm Birm. With me today is Lorenzo Styles Jr., a 2021 wide receiver from Pickerington, Ohio, and a local kid with Buckeye ties, but a kid that has really done a nice job so far, I think, and I think you deserve some commendation for the way you've handled your recruitment, because you have offers from Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan, Penn State, everyone really in the area. And rather than doing what a lot of kids do, which is jump on that first big offer, especially when you're an Ohioan with an Ohio State offer, you've really decided to take your time with this process. What's gone into that for you, and how have you been able to keep your head level with all this stuff going on?
Oh, really? I'm just looking at I have so many great opportunities, and I don't want to rush into it because this is a really big decision. So I'm going to make sure I go on all these visits. I see what every school has to offer academically as well as on the football field, as well as what would be the best decision for my family. So I just want to really take my time during this process.
I mean, you've been to Notre Dame 5 or 6 times, Ohio State as many times, Penn State a couple times now, Michigan a couple times. Is it safe to say, Lorenzo, that when this is all said and done, your decision is going to come in one of those 4 schools, or are there still other opportunities and other schools out there that you feel like, hey, I have to go down and see this place, or places that you've heard about growing from other guys? Or
yes, sir. I recently got an offer from Mississippi State, so that's really one school I want to get down to, as well as go down to Florida. So this summer, I'm probably going to take advantage of my free time and go to make sure I go camping down in schools in the SEC, schools the ACC, and other places like that.
For those that don't know, your father played at Ohio State. He was a linebacker in the 90s. What sort of influence has he had, not just as far as your thought process about Ohio State, but in general, how is he helping you with this process and comparing it to what he went through back, 30 years ago now?
Yes, sir.
You ever reminded that he's old?
I think he knows. I don't think he needs a reminder. He's an older guy, but he just always tells me to take advantage of these opportunities. Football really does not last forever, so he really wants me to focus on the academic part. He's really trying to make sure I know what I want to major in and what I want to do after football's over.
I think it's interesting with your father playing at Ohio State, who lives in Columbus. He's not a guy that's ever sort of forced himself to be around the program, right? I mean, he's not like he's someone who's showing up at the WAC and working out or anything like that. Yeah. How is the relationship that he's had with Ohio State since he left the school and went on to the NFL and retired?
Really, since my recruiting process is starting to heat up with Ohio State, I think it's just bringing back memories. So I know he really enjoys going on the visits, and I'm really happy I did that for him. So he's still not trying to push it on me, even though the memories are coming back up. We're just trying to have a good time together and enjoy the process.
You're one of the faster players in Ohio. You run track. What are your events in track, and what are your personal bests?
In track, I run the 100, 200, 4x1, 4x2. Right now, we have regionals tomorrow, so I just qualify for the 100, my personal best 10.82, and then the 4x1 and 4x2 is what I'm running at regionals.
Now, with Ohio State, how do you see the relationship going from here? What do you think still has to happen with Brian Hartline, with Ryan Day? What do you still need to see from that school, from the football program, to really start to feel truly comfortable with where you're at?
I don't know if it's what I need to see from that program, because I've been there 5-6 times, so I definitely like it. There's definitely interest there, as well as Notre Dame. It's what I got to see from other programs, so I just don't want to rush into anything, because like I haven't been to Mississippi State, I haven't been to Vanderbilt, I haven't been to Duke, etc. schools like that. So I really want to take advantage of those and see what opportunities they have for me.
Again, we're here on Birminology with Lorenzo Styles Jr., a 2021 wide receiver prospect from Pickerington, Ohio. I think it's interesting. You are a guy that visited Ohio State in March. That was the last time that I know you were on campus. You were there that weekend with J.J. McCarthy, who's a quarterback that you've gotten to know in the process through visits at Notre Dame, visits at Ohio State. He's now committed to Michigan. Ohio State has a commitment in your class from a quarterback in Kyle McCord. Has J.J. instantly reached out to you about Michigan once he committed to the Wolverines? Has Kyle McCord reached out to you about Ohio State? Are there any other relationships? I know you're close with Jack Sawyer, the Ohio State 2021 five-star defensive end commit, but are there any other players that have started to reach out and really start to try to tug you one direction or the other?
Really, my guy Blake Fisher, and then Tyler, who are I know Blake. He's really interested in same school as me, and then Tyler, he's a Notre Dame commit. So everyone, they're all trying to find really the best fit. JJ committed to Notre Dame. He committed to Michigan. And I'm really happy for him, and he wants me to go there with him. I'm still going to find my best fit. And then, my boy Jack, he committed to Ohio State. So I'm happy for all of them finding their best fit, but I'm still looking for mine. And wherever they're leaning is not really going to affect my decision. I got to whatever's going to suit me best.
It is interesting that of the three of the schools that are recruiting you the most heavily already have a quarterback committed in your class, and I think that that's something that those coaching staff certainly would want to have be the case, because that sort of relationship is important as you start to build rapport within classes, correct?
Yes, sir.
Lorenzo, what's next for you? Where you go visit-wise this summer? When are you getting back to Ohio State? And where else? I mean, I know you're talking about Mississippi State, getting down there and seeing them, Vanderbilt, Duke, a few other spots. Do you have a huge itinerary already planned out for the summer, or how do you intend on taking things from here?
So with Ohio State, we have a 2021 visit, which will be June 21st, so I'll be there. And then really my other schedule is really not planned right now. So my little brother, my little big brother, 6'4", he's about to be a freshman with me, freshman next year. So he goes out of town with basketball, California, Chicago, all that. So when he goes to those places, I'll most likely the school in that area. That's where I'll be taking trips at. So they're not really set yet, but that's what I hopefully can have.
What do you think of Brian Hartline? I mean, I know that he's a guy that wide receivers from all over the country have been raving about. But, I mean, for you as an Ohio State target and Ohio State legacy, have you seen a different side of Brian Hartline just from the fact that maybe he's a little less, less recruity with you and more just, talking?
Yeah, I've been up there a lot. So the first few visits, we were focusing on the recruiting part. But then after that, we were just talking about life, his family, his son, his wife, etc. He's just telling me how after football, how he's living his life, how he handled it, what he regrets, what he is happy that he's done. So I really I look up to him as a football player as well as just as a person. He's taught me a lot.
What do you hope to we're going to rewind that in my brain. I'm gonna spit that one out. When do you want this to be over with? Do you have an idea, a timeline, a time frame when you say, hey, ideally, as I head into the end of my junior football season, I've got my college thing figured out? Or are you still thinking, summer next year? Or is there any sort of deadline for you?
Yes, sir. Before my senior year, the deadline is definitely going to be before then. For my senior season, I really just want to focus on my team, focus on winning without the recruiting process, all these coaches trying to jump at me. So that's really my deadline right there before my senior season.
Is there any sense from other schools that are recruiting you that Ohio State is recruiting too many receivers? I mean, I know that in the 2020 class right now they have a pair of commitments. They're the leader and expected to land Julian Fleming next week. They're still looking to add one or more in that class, and then there's already talk of yourself and Jaden Ballard and Emeka Ibuka and Latrell Novell and Marvin Harrison Jr. Is there any sense for you that you have to hurry with Ohio State, or are they giving you the assurances that no matter what happens, your spot is there?
When I talk to Coach Hartline, Coach Hartline, everyone he offers, he thinks they have a spot at Ohio State. And I know there's a bunch of top guys in the other class, and I don't really think that's affecting anyone's decision coming below, because I talk to Mecca, Arvin, all of us, so I think we all think something special would happen there.
There are some schools that are recruiting you as a defensive back. Is that no longer the case, or is there still some that think you could play on the other side of the ball?
Really, a lot of schools actually do think I can play on the other side of the ball. They're going to test me really what I'm more comfortable at. So after this season, we're going to see how that goes because I haven't been playing DB. I actually started this year. So I'm going to see how comfortable I feel after this year. Then we'll see how that goes in my recruiting process.
Was the decision to start playing defensive back kind of a business decision down the line? I mean, you're 6'1", 195, 200 pounds. I mean, you're sort of the ideal size for a cornerback with your speed. Is that something that you and your dad have talked about and said, hey, let's think about this? Or was this sort of just, a need for your school?
Yeah, for my school, I'm just really a team player. It really benefits my school, me playing both sides of the ball. We need someone to play 100 plays a game. So I had to do that for my school, and I'm happy I could do that for them.
Last thing, we'll let you start to wind up here. But Jack Sawyer, obviously, as we talked about, is a guy that you know very well, one of your good friends. How has Jack tried to influence your recruitment since he committed to Ohio State in February? And, I mean, have you guys sat down and really talked about what it would mean to play together, to be roommates in college and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's always been one of our dreams to do that. And we've been up to Ohio State together. We would some days we wouldn't have school. Some days we would just go together. We'd go there to Ohio State, have breakfast. After that, talk about it. So he wants me as a friend. He wants me to find my best fit. But as Ohio State commit, he definitely wants me to go there with them. So he's really not trying to force anything upon me. It's just he wants me to find my best fit. So, but he hopes that's Ohio State.
Last question about your dad and his thoughts on Ohio State. He's a guy that obviously played under John Cooper, watched Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel, now watching Ryan Day. Does he have any sort of thoughts on what he's seen from Ryan Day in the program at this point that are either A, giving him pause about where the direction of the program is going as an alum, and B, the direction the program is going as the father of a recruit?
As an alum, I don't really think my dad he doesn't really even watch football like that, so I wouldn't really think he really focuses just like on Ohio State in that aspect. But as a recruit, I know he really likes Coach Hartline, what he can do for me. So, with the Coach Day situation, me personally, I feel like I have 2 years before that time, so we'll see. Coach Day has a season, and I believe he'll continue where Coach Urban Meyer's from, but I'm not really sure where he's at on that certain job.
Well, look, Lorenzo, really appreciate you taking time tonight. I know we've been going back and forth trying to get this hooked up, so thank you so much for your patience and for being on the show and being on Birminology. For the Lettermen Row fans and readers and watchers, I know they appreciate it as well. So for Lettermen Row, I'm Berm. That is Lorenzo Styles Jr., and we thank you for watching Birminology on Lettermen Row.